Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Americans for the Arts 30th Annual Nancy Hanks Lecture on Arts and Public Policy. I'm Bob Lynch, President and CEO of Americans for the Arts, and on behalf of our Board of Directors and our staff team, I want to thank you for joining us tonight here at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. We're joined tonight by many special guests, including members of Congress, state and local elected officials, CEOs of corporations, heads of major foundations, including our speaker tonight, as well as the nation's most important arts leader, Jane Chu, the chairman of the National Endowment for the Arts. Jane Chu, up there. Yeah. I guess if we want to get that kind of applause, we just say the words Jane Chu, and that's really great job that you're doing, Jane, and we thank you very much. And Jane, I want to tell you that we are all assembled here this evening because we believe in the power of the arts to transform people's lives and to transform communities. And along with the 2,000 people that we have here this evening, there are millions more who stand committed to ensuring that the federal government remains invested in the future of that vision through the National Endowment for the Arts. And that vision is also ensured with the entire cultural investment, including the National Endowment for the Humanities, the Institute of Museum and Library Services, and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. After all, what would our world be like without art and artists? Our lecturer last year, John Maeda, stated that the goal in life for artists is to be curious and go wonder how to do new things. There lies the beauty of creativity, the power of artists to create something new, to be innovative, to manifest something with a unique perspective that has never been seen before. So I'm really pleased that we have several artists with us tonight representing the Americans for the Arts Artists Committee. They'll be joining us tomorrow morning at the crack of dawn up there on Capitol Hill for Arts Advocacy Day. And they are legendary artist and Tony Award-winning performer Ben Vereen, who's here with us tonight. And also with us is another Tony Award-winning actor, a singer, and dancer, Brian Stokes Mitchell. And lucky us, Stokes has just recently joined the Americans for the Arts Board of Directors. So that was a real terrific. We are also so pleased to have with us stage and screen actress Gabrielle Ruiz, who is part of the hit shows Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and Orange is the New Black. Thank you for being here. You got fans. We know that when it comes to making change happen at the federal level, it takes bipartisan congressional arts leadership and evidence-based data to make our case. And thankfully, we have both. As you can see in this full-page ad that Americans for the Arts will be placing in tomorrow's edition of Politico, Roll Call, and the Hill newspapers, the decision makers are not going to be able to get away from you and our message. In these ads, we bring a spotlight to the research that is measured and documented by not us, but the United States Department of Commerce, the Bureau of Economic Analysis. And it is because of this research that we know that the NEA's grant-making and matching dollars are part of a large $730 billion economic arts and culture industry that represents 4.2% of the nation's gross domestic product and supports 4.8 million jobs, bigger than tourism itself. Yes. But as our board of directors talked about today, we need to make the case and tell the stories that are locally based, not just the big numbers, but about the artist next door, the arts organization that's changing your community. And I can tell you that these arts jobs that we're talking about here are not the kinds of jobs that can be easily outsourced to another country. They're right here. They're homegrown jobs and products that are made and hired in America. Additional ads like these that you see here have already been appearing and will be placed in the coming weeks in strategic media markets throughout the country to bolster that grassroots outreach and to go where the decision makers live. We're following them everywhere. So we know that in order to reverse these kinds of misguided budget recommendations, we need a successful national advocacy campaign that will lift the voices of grassroots arts advocates everywhere. This year, we are proud to partner with 89 of the most influential national arts and civic advocacy organizations in the country, representing more than 100,000 nonprofit cultural organizations of every discipline throughout every region as national partners of Arts Advocacy Day. And we're joined by 700 state and local arts leaders, including 150 future leaders enrolled in college arts administration programs representing every single state in America. Every state is here for this National Arts Advocacy Day. So I'd love to ask all of these Arts Advocacy Day national partners, all of our state arts advocacy captains, all of the individual registrants for Arts Advocacy Day to please stand and be recognized and be thanked for what you are doing for America. We also know that advocacy doesn't begin and end on just one day. We need to keep a steady drumbeat of pressure on those who we elected to represent us in our communities. We cannot let up or give up until we save the NEA and say yes to cultural investment by our government in the United States of America. So please, help us expand our reach and spread our message, your message, by sharing the hashtag #SaveTheNEA. You can also post this message on your social media pages from our own Facebook or Twitter accounts, or the mobilization center that we have set up on our website that captures not only everything that we're doing, but that all of those 89 organizations do and that you do as well, so that in one place we can see what is actually taking place to make this happen. So don't delay. Now is the time. Tomorrow is the time. Tonight, if you're awake later, is the time to get involved and to keep those messages coming. And it's not just the economic argument that we have in our arsenal to talk about. We have the obvious inherent value of the arts argument, the real reason that we're in this business. But we also know that the arts can transform communities in America. 89% of the American public thinks that's important. That's why the nation's mayors passed a unanimous policy resolution at the United States Conference of Mayors annual meeting. Tom Cochran, their CEO, is here, to increase federal funding for the National Endowment for the Arts. And they also called for a cabinet-level position for arts and culture to be created within the White House, as so many mayors themselves across the country are coming to that point of view with cabinet-level positions for the arts in cities. The NEA also has the support of the military. Thanks to its collaborative and groundbreaking work with Walter Reed Hospital, the NEA has created a program entitled Creative Forces that we also are honored to help administer. With dedicated funding secured last year from Congress, the NEA is now supporting the placement of arts therapists in every discipline, in 12 military rehabilitation hospitals across the country. So these arts therapists are doing phenomenal and measurable impact work in helping wounded military personnel with physical wounds and post-traumatic brain injuries. I encourage all of us to share personal stories about how the National Endowment for the Arts has supported programs near and dear to your heart, whether directly or through state and local arts agencies. Share them on social media, share them with elected officials, share them in op-eds. And now, before we hear from tonight's Nancy Hanks lecturer, please help me to thank the sponsors that make this evening possible. First, wonderful, longtime supporter and Americans for the Arts board member Nancy Stevens with the Rosenthal Family Foundation. We would also like to thank Jessica Yaz Barker with Ovation, the nation's only television arts network. They've been with us for many years. And our newest sponsor, the Max and Victoria Dreyfus Family Foundation. Thank you all.